I call the Public Works Committee to order, the March 3rd Public Works Committee. Everybody review the minutes from
Motion to accept.
January 27th. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not, same signal, so passes.
I'm saying will be an eye, right?
How about a nay?
If you are hear any nays? So pass it. Don't worry, if it didn't pass, there'd be people arguing. Department reports, we'll go for Kevin's Sewer District.
Yeah, we have a short, should be quick agenda today. My first item, the sewer rates local law amendment. Every year, if you recall, we pass local laws establishing the rates for sewer 1 and sewer 2. This year, with our sewer 1 rates, there are 3 different categories. 2 of them are the capital cost and the Queenberry benefit tax recovery, and they're both a per unit charge. The amounts when we passed the law were flip-flopped. So it doesn't affect any of the bills, but we should correct it, as more of a formality. So that's what we have to go through the public hearing and local law process again, but it's really just to switch the 2 amounts with each other. We'll move that to the full board.
We have to set a hearing or whatever.
Yep, schedule a public hearing on the local law. I haven't written, so it'll be ready for the.
You moved it, Dan.
Motion
Second.
to move to the main board. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not? Nay. So passes.
Our WWTP, for anybody that doesn't know, or maybe do, it's wastewater treatment plant, the capital construction update. We've had a major project going on at the plant for the past 3 or 4 years. We are essentially wrapping up that project. It's the time where we do the closeout paperwork and procedures and move to long-term financing. So I asked the committee give me and the chairman the ability to sign any and all documents needed to close out the project. I say me and the chairman because anything I can sign, I will, but anything that requires the chairman's signature would be it.
Motion.
Motion been made, seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but you're under budget too, which is nice.
Yep, yeah, that's the one where we received the $6 million grant we didn't plan for.
Anybody not in favor? So passes.
And lastly, we conducted a mini bid for a new vehicle we budgeted for and had approved during the budgeting process. The lowest responsive or lowest qualified bid was for the vendor name is Howell and Pearson DBA main motor car and the amount of $89,852.49. There were 2 bids lower than that, but they weren't the specs that we put out for our bid. There was 1 price higher than
Vendor 4. Which we believe actually should be vendor 2 for sewer district.
if you go. That's actually so. Howell and Pearson is the correct one, which
What I show.
so it's 4. Is that what it says?
Says vendor 4.
Okay, that's correct.
$89,852.49.
Yep.
No. We have to pass that, or that's passed by,
You award it and then the full board.
I understand that, but the sewer district, they've already okayed all this. So we just gotta have a motion to move it to the full board, okay, and move it to the full board.
Motion. Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not? So passes.
Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the purchasing policy is why we have to.
Right.
That's right, because of the amount.
Yes.
And that was what I had prepared.
Okay, any questions? I did go for a walkabout at the sewer plant, and that's very interesting, if nobody's ever been there. Very interesting.
All your news.
Thank- Okay, you're all set, sir. Deb, are you ready?
Next.
Good job. You weren't fishing there, right?
Well, there were some pumpkin seeds in the last little barrel of water. Ribbons were already had it.
All right, you ready?
You're ready. Surplus list.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for who made it up to the thing that we had up in Fort Anne. So this event hopefully will be maybe in Albany next year to get more people who are local there, but hopefully you guys will be able to make it to that as well. Or any of the other counties in Region One, because it's kind of a Region One collective thing, not necessarily advocacy for chips. It's for all kinds of issues. So
How many counties are in Region One?
9, it goes from Greene to Essex over to Schenectady.
Wow.
So Green was there. Albany was there. A lot of people were there. It was good. Thanks for coming. So we have our surplus list. Our list to declare surplus. Is there any questions on these? Who is it that likes to see miles? Somebody likes to see miles on the time.
Miles in there.
It'd be happy this time.
You 7,000, should broke it in. You need a motion on this or? Second.
Motion been made, seconded, move the surplus. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not, nay? So pass it.
All right, next up, we have, back in 2024, we purchased 4 plow trucks. So we've learned over the years with different, supply chain issues, not to put all 4 trucks on the same PO. So this time we put a truck with a box and plow on each PO. Now the box and plows aren't coming. So they've had our trucks. So the ones in 2025, we have separate truck, separate box and plow, POs. So there's 8 POs for 2020. So the issue is this, is Navistar has requested, asked if we can pay them for the truck. So they've been there since May. And we wanted to, there is a way to do it with these POs that Stacy showed us how to do. But one thing I do want to point out is when they sent me the invoice yesterday, there were tariffs on them. And I don't know how we handle that. There's different people who feel different ways on it. So I thought I'd give you guys a chance to discuss tariffs.
What do we mean by fair? Like a late charge?
It says tariff came yesterday.
Some equipment came, some part of the equipment came from someplace other than the United States.
And I think one of the reasons you're bringing it up is because we don't pay taxes, right? Is that? what-
Yes,
the tariff
the,
question?
yeah, Barb looked through the contract, because we piggyback off the Onondaga contract. And the only tariff that were allowed in there was for extended warranties. But I believe we do pay tariffs on other stuff, so I don't know how to go about this. Do I tell the guy no tariffs, we're not paying him?
Dana?
We can talk tariffs. I did want to, you jumped ahead to something that I wanted to ask a question about. You said they have the trucks and they want money, but the trucks they haven't been delivered to us.
Well, we would take delivery of them. It's something different.
So you do take,
Than
you
usual.
take physical
We
delivery.
would take physical
Okay,
delivery of it.
that's-
Yep.
With respect to tariffs, Dan, do we pay legal fees? Do we pay tariffs?
We generally don't pay taxes and tariffs. That may be the question of if that tariff was assigned before last Friday's Supreme Court decision or
What was that?
after,
What happened?
where the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs that the president had imposed way back when under the Emergency Powers Act. He then issued a new round of tariffs on under a different section, and it's gonna go through litigation all over again. So right now, I think that question is very much open here.
Is this something that we're actually in a position to do anything about? I'm just curious.
Okay,
On the, hang it up before you actually put it on the road. When does the warranty start?
I don't know.
The day update?
I mean, it would be when we take delivery of it normally, so.
how much are the tariffs charging that?
It is $3,200 for each truck. Each truck costs $169,184.
We've got $12,000.
Well, it'll be a little more than that, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well,
So we're not, according to this, municipalities are not automatically exempt from federal import tariffs. They are exempt from state and local sales taxes. So we may end up having to pay it.
Scott or Sam?
I've been called worse. Deb, so what's gonna be missing on these trucks when we take them? Are they gonna be usable immediately or we gotta wait for, no? So. Are we money invested? Is it, we're gonna lose money because money's for us not invested or
Well, I mean, any money that we have paid out is
joint monies?
we're investing as much as we can. You know, the question here is it fair to the truck vendor to be held up by the box and plow vendor, right? They're two separate vendors. And, you know, the guy who sold us the truck in good faith is sitting there, you know, patiently waiting.
Yep.
And he probably should be made whole. I mean. He sold us a truck, we bought a truck, he should be paid for the truck. It's not his fault. The other end of it is not functioning properly.
Right.
Okay,
Back to Sue's question, you know, if they're sitting there for 6 months, we're losing 6 months worth of warranty on them sitting there. Wonder if there's anything we can work with the vendor. And the other thing is that 12,000 over what we budgeted, you have set aside, where would we have to pull that 12,800 from? For paying the tariff part of it.
It's probably going to be here road machinery fund balance is the shortest answer. You know, we can look to see if there's savings in other accounts, but the easiest answer is really just to appropriate the fund balance she needs to make that purchase happen.
yeah.
And if we don't need it, we don't need it, but at least it's in place for What's the backlog on the box?
it seems to get longer and longer.
it. Yeah.
So we're hoping to have them, I think, by May to August timeframe. Because there's 4 of them. But it was January to April timeframe, so it's moved. It's a supply issue with that. We used to have a supply issue with the trucks, you know, it's a supply issue with the boxes.
So what's their incentive, once you take delivery of the truck? To give you the box and everything else? Where's the incentive there?
It's a different.
It comes from a different place.
Oh, yeah, it's a different.
They
place,
wanna
but we
get
buy the
paid too,
trucks
so
from
they're-
You're
Navistar.
gonna buy them from the same.
We buy the trucks from Navistar and then we buy the box and plow and all the setup from Zwax. So they're totally different companies who submit a where it is, they submit their bid, so to speak, their quote together.
I know they got the same problem in Saratoga County, they've got trucks over there that have been sitting. You know, boxes. Quite a while. But there's no incentive.
No, I mean, they don't have the boxes, steel plows, they just can't get them.
So, question on the tariffs. Where are these trucks built?
I know that some of them came from Mexico, I don't know if all of them came from Mexico.
But the tariffs were just on the parts that came from overseas, not the whole construction.
Nate,
What if we use that paying the tariff as a little bit of leverage, ask Navistar to suspend, start the warranty. Those wax held of the trucks are completed. We have to pay the tariff, then why don't we just say we'll pay the tariff and we delay the start of the warranties until the trucks are ready for snow? Because that's the way the contract was originally written. So if you're helping them by paying for the truck now, then they ought to be able to delay the warranty. Because they won't need the warranty until the snow bodies are installed and the truck's ready for operation.
I'll make that a motion.
uh,
Now, my question is gonna be, so we're gonna take the trucks, but they don't have the plows and the boxes on them. Are you gonna have to go back to them for installation? Is it
Yes.
installation?
Yep.
And where are we getting these from?
The trucks are now in Hoosick Falls and then they go to Petersburg. Petersburg.
And who arranges that? Them, the company we get the trucks from, or we're gonna have to coordinate that and get them done in Petersburg ourselves?
We would probably have to take them down ourselves.
So that's gonna cost us money as well.
Yep.
So normally we wouldn't have to do that. They would do that and have it done when they
Yep.
deliver it to us. There's a lot of expense involved here that we're not looking at.
okay, Jay,
I was gonna make a motion to what Nate said, but also, Deb, if they're just cab and chassis, they're no good sitting up here, so why don't we just take them down to where they're gonna get put on and park them there anyways?
We could ask to do that. Josh from Navistar just said that once we get the trucks back from Frank, which is Swax, where they go to get the box and plow, they will restart the warranty.
I'd still leave it the motion,
Yeah.
so that we're,
Yeah.
that it's clarified later.
So I make that motion
okay, the motion made,
to pay bills with the tariff and ask that the warranty not be started till the bodies and plows are mounted. That's it.
motion been made, seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Anybody not? Motion passed.
So that's nothing to that, right?
I do, oh, so,
There's another thing. Sorry. When it's in Petersburg, that's not in Washington County.
I should have said Steventown, but yes, it's still not Washington County.
You don't have any, like, work for town, insurance issues by them sitting down there or driving them down there.
I'm not familiar with workman's comp, but I would guess no.
We are self-insured.
Yeah,
For workers' comp, yes,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter.
There's no parameters.
they're not our workers.
Yeah.
None of them are our workers.
I think which means we
It's
go get
Max
them.
or,
Yeah, if you drive them down and get them, they'd be our workers.
yeah, but I think they'll deliver them. I think that's what they say.
Either way.
They'll deliver them. I think they'll do it just as normal.
We usually go pick them up when they're ready.
When they're ready.
Because then we
If they
can get
wanna
them.
get them out of their yard.
I understand that, but I also understand that workman's comp, sometimes you can't go across state boundaries, so we are self-insured. So that shouldn't make a difference, but, when it's something that, in our own business, we had to give location when we crossed over to Vermont. Because it was that, but they might not think about that, in this. I know what we have to do as a company. You have to be careful about location, the office, yes, and where we actually work. That's just a question.
quick statement, we're looking to buy a truck. And it's like 6 months out before the dump and everything is. So you gotta plan almost a year ahead with the 2 steps before you get a truck, if not longer.
We're 2 years out, ours is supposed to be in April. We're solid 2 years out there.
Okay,
When would these then be ordered? What was in there?
2024.
So we've already got 2 years of interest on those, right?
6/14 of 24. And they came in May
So
of
it pays for
22.
some of the tariff. Because they were all.
We get 4% on that 1,000,003 or whatever we're sitting on.
Well, it's not like we're flush with cash to begin with, it just,
So this isn't road machinery, so it's kind of apples and oranges.
yeah.
but still the tariff was not figured in any of the prices that were in the budget. Gotta hurt somewhere.
Well, what Brian's not wrong about though is the delay in the delivery. We continue to earn all that money was invested for that whole period of time. So I could probably work up a number for you before finance to show you what we earned on that money. It probably exceeds what you're appropriating. It would be my gut.
But there's another group.
I mean, I don't have to like it, but chances are we're still right side up.
Then we're expecting there'll be tariffs on that too.
I expect there'll be tariffs on the box and plow.
No, I mean, on the next group that's coming.
But I think on the second piece, you're gonna see tariffs again.
Yeah.
I don't think the box and plow is gonna come without a tariff.
Don't they build, doesn't SWAC build them now?
Do they though? Cause,
No, they
Yeah,
don't,
Canada.
they get from Canada,
They
yeah,
do
from
get it out.
Everest.
so again, depending on where the materials are sourced from, you might end up with the same problem again.
It's true.
Hey,
All set with that topic?
had enough at that one, let's move to the next one.
Oh, jeez. We're on a roll here. Well, next up, we want to award our miscellaneous bids that we do every year. Those are, our reinforcement for the bridge decks, structural steel for the bridges, sign blanks, pipe, asphalt. And then we'll print them off. Well, we'll reach out to the superintendents in your town. Sometimes they don't want to print it off, sometimes they to make sure they get them, so. Recommend awarding those.
Okay, made the motion. Seconded,
Correct me if I'm wrong, the precast concrete box culverts that we did on, correct?
Nobody bid on, we are putting those out again, and we expect to have a bidder.
okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Anybody not in favor? So passing. Can I go backwards for a minute
Yeah.
for our auction?
Okay,
There has been interest in outside,
well, that was coming up, you want
Yeah,
to bring
okay.
it in? I can bring that in.
I'm sorry,
Nope, I don't know, it's on the list, we're skipping down to number 6, donate sheriff car. So, the Fort Edward Rescue Squad has been reaching out to the sheriff, who's been reaching out to Carpool to ask that we donate a retired sheriff patrol unit to them. So years ago, this happened, and since I've been here, we made a rule or whatever that we're not doing that it always goes to auction. So I wanted to bring it up again. Do you still want them to go to auction? And then in talking with John about it, we do have separate auctions for our trucks or our equipment that goes to the town first, and possibly you would consider sending one of the sheriff patrol units that are being auctioned. Are there any of this time? Well, I think they're reused, yes, so there's a DS. Yeah, there's 2 Explorers on there. So would you be interested in, what do you want to do with this?
Yes. Cause I seem to remember it was White Creek, right? Remember Bob Shea wanted a bus? And we wouldn't give it, we wouldn't let him take it, made it auction it off, so we need to remain consistent, and do the same thing here.
Okay.
Cause I,
now, with the auctions, do we auction that for townships, like we do the trucks first?
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
like anybody else.
yeah, that's what we did, wasn't it Bob Shea?
Yes.
Yeah. And we said no to auctions, we made it go to auction, so we have to do the same thing here.
Just to build in people who weren't there many years ago. The reason we did it was because we were giving cars away to fire departments, everything else like that. And people decided that the taxpayer was getting dinged by not trying to get money for this. So that was the reason we went to going out to auction, not just giving away.
Sam?
Yeah, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, the rescue squad is not a town, that's a private.
No, but Bob wanted it for the senior center in Cambridge, it's the same thing, it was a,
Yeah, and we didn't do it.
we did not, do it.
That's what I'm saying.
We made them auction it off.
That's what I'm saying for the town, that turned out the same.
Yeah.
Not that, if it was going to go to a town is a town, is what you're saying, Dan, I'm supporting what you're saying.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, so. Jay,
Yeah, I think put it up for auction within the Washington County area for towns and nonprofits, is that in order to get into something that's not an actual town?
Yeah, it's not for profit, it's not a town.
Right.
It's not, Fort Edwards or the Kingsbury's or Hudson
Yeah.
Falls.
But it won't be, a regular full auction, it'll be a Washington County
Yeah.
auction first.
Yep.
If it doesn't go, then goes to the full auction, correct?
Yeah, because you'll run into a situation where every organization steps up and we'll have cars for the next 10 years lined up to go off to different not-for-profits, so.
Right, but there's two different steps here, correct? Yeah, we did that to trucks for Easton too, I think.
Yep. So are you saying stick to just sending it out or add certain municipality or certain public safety agencies to our municipality list? Just so I'm clear.
The latter, I think.
The latter.
All right, so we will add ambulances, fire departments, maybe police to our internal list that sends out first so that they can bid on them. Seems fair.
Yeah, and I don't mind that approach either, because you're still talking about organizations that are serving the community, the residents of this community.
We need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Dana made a motion. Second. And Mr. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Same signal if not,
Send me Christmas cards.
so.
Daughter lives in my town.
She
His
forgot
daughter
her
lives in my
truck,
town.
is that bring it?
All right,
I messed you up.
not at all. We're even closer to the end. So next up, we put out a bid for the Locked 8-Way project. As you remember, the IDA is replacing this.
Well, that was.
That was pre-COVID back.
10 years ago, right?
That's just a cover charge.
It didn't triple the cost.
We're just the facilitator, Deb.
We're just the facilitator. So in transparency,
We're also the
I
cash flow.
think I should bring up the fact that what Al's gonna say, if we have to borrow for this, do they pay the interest? that
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
That's
That's a unanimous motion right there.
That's a yes. Before.
Okay. So, just wanted to make sure we're clear on that, so.
We want a motion for that, or we just assuming they're going to?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded.
They are.
Aye. All in favor?
Double I.
Anybody not? No passes.
So, what do we do? Do we send this to finance or how do we do that?
Do we already have the budget? Do you need the budget?
This will need to be budgeted. Need to get the state paperwork first, but we have to recommend the award to get the state paperwork going.
So I think today then, because there's not gonna be any bills flowing real time soon.
Right.
I think today you can accept the bid and come back to this committee when you get the Schedule A and all that paperwork in line, and then we'll do the Schedule A, the one that Dan does, and then the budget.
Yep.
Then we'll probably be a month or two down the line.
Right.
So today I think you only have to award the bid.
Okay. All right.
Chairman. Question for Dan, though. The committee just, I don't know if it was an actual motion or a conversation, talked about charging the IDA any interest if we had to borrow for it. There, it was a motion. So discussion on the motion. There is an agreement in place, I think, already with the IDA, so we may wanna. I don't know if we can just impose it on our will. It may have to be negotiated as part of that contract. I just, like Dan's opinion, we may have to look at that contract with them
Yeah, we'll have to.
and make sure the language is clear on what we can and can't charge them. We already did sign an agreement with them.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
So backing up for those people who weren't here, when we did the agreement with the bridge, we put in $100,000 in cash to draw against the salary and that would use for it. We also contributed, and that's request the bridge is there now. which is a basic construction bridge. State got life in it, the county can use it for when they need a bridge or temporary bridge someplace. So just to make sure everyone understood, it was really well thought out to make sure they kind of compensate for the bid. And I'm not sure if that interest is including that $9,000, so you might want to look and make sure. Everybody check about that. I don't remember that part.
I just have a question. That bridge, is that the one down next to the canal off of 196?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it? They brought all those reels of wire for the power line over it.
Yeah.
They paid $150,000.
Let's not go through that.
Here we go.
I'm just curious.
We missed 3 years of discussion.
Video from 5 or 6 years ago, and then do that video again, I bet it's worse.
The truck going over it.
Problem is that bridge has a lifespan of
Considered
5
temporary,
years.
right?
Temporary.
I don't remember how.
Temporary bridge. Thank you.
Temporary
Bridge, and they couldn't get durable access to their insurance policy in the property, so that's the reason why it needs to be replaced. We went over in the school bus, if everybody remembers, it was here, that was a thrill.
Okay, now we understand. Dan's gonna research. And we get moving.
Yes, so this will be a resolution to accept that bid. Did we make all the right motions and votes and all that stuff for that?
I think we voted on it, yeah.
To award. Not to award.
To award it.
Motion.
Oh, motion to award to ING Civil.
Jay makes a motion, second to award the.
ING Civil. No comments, Jay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody not? So it passes. But we don't have to bring that.
Well-
We're gonna be 2 months down the line. Next month, we gotta bring it to finance.
So the state won't give us the
paper.
paperwork until we've awarded it to the lowest responsible bidder. Once we've awarded it, the state will, give us all that paperwork and I'll bring it back.
And then we'll move it.
This is this year's project or next year?
This is this year.
And we'll make it this year.
July.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
farmers are.
I'm gonna have zero control over it.
Okay.
So let me go
Apparently.
Through town.
They're gonna go through, all those corn combines are gonna go right through East Street, all the way up. It's gonna be a fun time forever. Oh, they're not gonna do any corn. They think they'll be out by October, right? Ned, did you
Yeah.
hear about that?
You know,
I think they're starting in July, is that correct? They're
think
supposed
it's
to
a
be
timeline
finished
with
by
July.
October. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of corn choppers going through East Street. Or
Get some free stuff. Up on the truck.
silage. Is that the free stuff you want?
so we also have another federal aid project that we put out to bid. This is, it's a joint replacement project, so the joints for the bridges were deteriorating on, up by, what's that store in Granville? Passions. Yeah. It's Chapman's, is there a Chapman's?
Right there, yeah, the county,
Yeah.
that didn't. Oh, a year ago.
Yeah, so the joints are gonna get replaced on that project and the Hageman Bridge Road in Village. Yeah, this is probably 2 counties or 2 towns, Greenwich and Easton. Cause it goes over the Van Hill. So,
Has that one ever had work done on it?
no,
That's why I was wondering, it's been there quite a while.
yeah, that used to look like the bridge at Battenville. We wanna go there.
We're not,
So we need a motion to award the joint replacement project to Upstate Civil LLC for $324,224.12.
this is both bridges?
Both bridges, yep.
Okay, 'cause
It
I'm
does
only
say
reading-
just one on the
Yeah.
top. I don't know why it says just one.
Motion of the joint replacement.
Motion been made,
Second,
seconded. Any
on the joint
discussion?
replacement.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not in favor? So passes to accept the bid.
I'll get it. You read the rest?
I've already written.
All right. Next up, we would like to roll over a grant from DEC for WQIP, all these acronyms, Water Quality Improvement Project, round 20. This was our salt reduction one. There's $311,300.
Motion,
Move finance.
finance. Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Saying aye, aye. Anybody not? So pass it.
All right, now I have two kind of weird ones. One is, so the guy in the sign shop asked if he could buy bins to reorganize the signs, and it looks great out there. He bought the bins. So the bins cost $502.90, which means it has to come out of a 0.2 account instead of if it was $2.91 cheaper, it would not be a thing. So we have no money in my 0.2 account for that. So I'm asking if we can move $502.90 from a 0.4 to a 0.2. I asked them if they would take $2.91 off this bill. They would not.
That is it a bin or it's bins?
It's bins, it's, well, there's different parts here. There's 3, 4, 5, 6 different parts to it.
What Al's saying is it broke into more than one, so you
Right,
still
so
put it in the.
if you're moving money for bins plural, you don't need to. Is it 500 total or 500 each?
Oh, $502.90 total. So let me
So you
check
don't need to
first.
move money.
Okay,
It's only if each one is 500 or more. So you're good out of a 0.4.
you feel Stacy.
We've had this discussion. I think there might be sometimes it's a communication, sometimes a communication thing.
Okay.
If the individual asset needs to be over 500, it'd be a 0.2. So if there's 5 bins for 500, it's a 0.4. If it's 1 bin for 500, it's a 0.2.
But we weren't allowed to buy, this was a long time ago, we weren't allowed to buy 1 radio a month to be under the threshold because cumulatively throughout the year, but I'm not fighting with you because you're telling me it's okay.
So the individual asset
Okay.
has to hit the 500 threshold to be a 0.2.
Okay,
Okay? And we can clear that up internally if there's any confusion.
all right. Now, the next one is Salem has one of those radar signs. And that radar sign says, you know, hey, you're going over 30, you better slow down, whatever it says. They asked us to, we kind of, I don't know, monitor, set it up and all that stuff. So when it was being transported from Salem to Shushan, it was damaged and no longer works, so we need to replace it. And that cost 2,500. What, you got a better idea?
No, I said oops.
Yeah,
Sorry.
oops.
Outside voice.
Oops was in my head. So that cost $2,597. So I guess I need permission to purchase that and move the money because that's definitely 0.2, but it won't be asseted to us.
If it's not asset to us, it's a 0.4.
Oh, but
Who's it asset?
Sales.
it's there, we're replacing something of theirs that we moved.
There's no insurance on it?
The insurance is, probably so high that it.
Deductible is probably higher than.
There's no fixing, right?
But again, if we're.
We have spent months trying to fix it. Like, he'll go over and tinker with it every now and then and see. So far, nope, and they want their sign back.
Yeah, just like with the grants where we buy stuff for other towns, if we're not assetting it, it's a point.
Okay, so this is 0.4, so I don't need to move money, but I do feel like I need permission to buy it, or at least tell you we're buying it.
It's, yeah,
So it's okay if you buy it.
transparency is never a bad thing.
And if you need to borrow one, they have one, so we will not be moving it. We probably will.
What did shooting?
Shushin, they were driving too fast in town.
Why don't we have the sheriff set those signs up? Why are we borrowing?
Oh, that was, we were just helping Salem do it. We weren't setting it up for them.
Wait, what do you mean we were helping?
So the sign that they purchased takes a lot of programming, and they could probably have moved it. We could have just programmed it, but we moved it.
Well, I guess I still doesn't answer my question. Why didn't we just use the sheriff sign in Shushin as opposed to using a town sign? We have our own.
So, well, it's funny you bring that up. None of the sheriff signs work right now. Because I was gonna ask to buy some, but it wasn't in our budget, so I didn't. We were not setting it up in Shushin for our benefit.
So the town of Shushin was using this sign. We were doing them a favor by transporting the sign. We broke the sign and now we gotta pay the sign?
I think so.
Nope, I'm a no on that.
And
That
David?
Shushin pay for it. Why are we paying for it?
I thought because we broke it, we should.
We're doing a favor.
Okay, so
Damn.
First of all, Shushin is in the town of Salem. That's so to make that clear.
Say that again?
Shushin is in the town of Salem.
It gets even better then.
We have, you and I don't have this discussion, but we do have this discussion about the town, because that area becomes where the sheriffs are spending a lot of time because of Benton Kill River. Okay. So they come down 64, which is a county road. And there's so to get people to slow down and when the river is high is really, really important for the county and. So the town made a motion to move their sign over to that road down by Rico. Because if it's, I mean, you fish down there, sometimes there's no cars in the parking lot, and sometimes there's 50 in the situation. It gets complicated. So that being said, I don't know about a truck, but it's important for the county and them to have signs because it gets. I mean, we've had this discussion before, as far as here with Jackson and Salem. If the water's high, it gets ridiculously busy there, and it's dangerous. The sign reduces the speed. That's the one. Just so there's not another town in the Washington County, you don't have any town in Shushin. They'd like that. You know.
Where are we at?
You have a motion?
do we need a motion?
You're gonna need a motion. Oh, yeah. Right? You can't. This isn't money that was budgeted. You have to have a motion.
You ever go half on it? We have to buy the whole thing?
Are you asking me or?
Yes, John.
In turn. Deb, can we go half?
I'm sure that we could work out something with Sue where she lets us borrow it maybe, or I don't know. So that we could, like, we get asked to use it in Greenwich all the time. Maybe if we did pay for half of it and you paid for half of it, we could use it in other towns, so it would benefit the community as a whole. Would you need to ask your town that?
So I guess if you're gonna pay for half, you have to make that contingent upon the town of Salem also agree to pay for half.
Have an MOU.
Get a sure symbol.
Jay,
The sheriff says signs, none of them work, but we're putting this on the county road. Can we take it out of the sheriff budget?
I talked to the sheriff and they didn't have money to buy new ones either. We were hoping that we could, but we gotta wait to put it into next year's budget.
I have a question, and this might be dumb. Why is the county involved in it? Like, if the towns are concerned, I guess, why don't we let the town, if you own one?
Right.
And Greenwich wants it, why doesn't Greenwich borrow it from Salem? Why is the county involved in it?
Because it was one of the many things that we do in support of the towns, but electronics on it and programming it is, you know, you need to know how to do that. Salem didn't know how to do that. They asked us to do that. The big mistake was moving it. If we just left it in the same spot where it was, we wouldn't be here. But it doesn't always do, you know, it doesn't work in just one spot all the time. But, I mean, I guess the town highway superintendents could maybe go through a training to learn how to program
I'm
them.
wondering, because aren't we putting ourselves in a liability situation going forward? If, I mean, it's a service we're providing for the towns, which is fine. I know we help, you know, everybody helps each other out. I'm just, to what extent and what cost is it gonna come back and, you know, if we keep breaking stuff that we're trying to help with? I guess I'm just wondering why, you know, Greenwich doesn't just send somebody to Salem, get the sign, move the sign. Why are we involved in it?
It's an electronic sign, it's not just a sign.
Right, but.
Is it a trailer or
Right.
do you hook it?
No, it's just set up.
And the, less of the issue is that these are both county roads. And people are going at unsafe speeds. And we put it up in front of the school, which is kind of free. And then they moved over to 64 because there was an awful lot of activity. Shooting that was, a county road also. That they were going too fast. They were having parking issues at that, you know.
So if it's a county road, then maybe it should be the opposite, where it's our responsibility and
Exactly.
you're out of it completely.
You got it. And
It just seems like we're making it really
Yeah, yeah, throughout,
So the signs been on both, but been on county roads.
yes.
Can we get to the subject, our new subjects? What is the county broke the sign,
Doing them a
right?
favor,
Can,
doing them.
Dana says no to fix it. I think it's our responsibility to fix it. We broke it. Then there's the other issue is, should you buy a sign for the county to use? So can we do one, John, can we just discuss whether we should pay for the sign first?
Where's the revenue go from all the tickets that you collect on that? Drinks going to the town.
What tickets are you referring to?
You're
speeding.
getting-
It's all about speed, right?
Right, but you don't write a ticket based on somebody speeding under that
Well,
sign.
they set that up and then they come and, you know, later.
Well,
The sign has nothing to do.
The point of the sign is to keep people from speeding.
Right.
Everything.
And then they take it down and then they come in for a while and because the sign's not. Oh, I've seen it work.
okay, do we want to go with a motion to replace the sign?
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made to replace the sign at 100% of cost. Is there a second for that motion? Motion's not noticed then. Right?
Bills for a second.
Fail for a second. Do we have a motion to pay for half the sign? Bill makes a motion to pay for half the sign. Is there a second?
Who made that motion?
Chair, Mr. Harris, Bill.
I'll second that.
The motion been made and Kerr seconded it, Supervisor Kerr. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not in favor? So the motion,
Contingent upon Salem paying for the other half.
the motion was made, seconded, and passed. The county will pay for half the sign and Salem will pay for half the sign.
Then it's their sign, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want us to buy a sign?
Well, if it's on county roads, I thought you already would have.
Well, the sheriff has them, but they don't work, so what do we do?
Can you fix those?
I don't give them fixed.
We had discussed it with the sheriff and we decided that we would ask to buy 2 signs to share with the sheriff. But we can't ask because of budget.
Dave?
So the question is they bought that sign because they had a problem on the road in their town. If the county owns it, the county could move it to other places and not leave it on the roads in their town. That doesn't go very well though.
Great, but Salem still needs. Are you?
Okay, Scott? Oh,
I can come up with something if you want.
oh, okay. Al,
So far as the county meeting signs, if the sheriff shows up at public safety later this morning, I think that I would ask him, the sheriff every year gets what's called a STEP grant. It's Speed and Traffic Enforcement Program grant. It might be a great use of those funds to replace those speed enforcement signs. So I wouldn't hesitate to ask the sheriff if we can use somebody else's money to get those signs up and running.
oh,
Sheriff's gonna be.
Nate was first.
I believe every supervisor in this room, their town has several areas that would love to see a speed reduction. This is countywide. And I know the other day when up to John's district, they had a car accident on Route 4. I believe it was Sunday. And Lower Turnpike Bridge, the county bridge, the 3-ton bridge, had 4 cars at a time. Because of the funeral in Granville, one of the town board members went off and was stopping traffic going across that bridge. And I called the sheriffs, they went over and they were trying to delay the GPS sends everybody, nobody can read 3-ton limit. And there are 4 cars bumper to bumper going across that bridge. And I love to see signs there too. I'd love to see something, but I know we just don't have the money to do it. And we're doing everything we can in the town to help the county with that bridge, keep it open. But I mean, this is just the shape we're in fiscally, we just can't do all these wonderful things.
Bill,
Deb, the sign vendor, do they have a guy that can come and repair the signs for us?
Look,
I mean,
Does the same job no matter what it works, yeah.
Jay,
Getting back to the 30,000 foot picture. County is helping out somebody moving a piece of equipment and we break it, how are we gonna go forward on this? We're helping another town, or if the town is, here we could have had Salem move it and then we could have set it up for it. So how are
we
we?
take trucks down to the places to get fixed for towns or graders or, we're
Right, you
helping the
moved
towns
equipment
all
for
the
us,
time.
Right,
I'm gonna strongly recommend that the sheriff does the signs from now on, I can tell you that.
But there are.
Why doesn't, isn't it a law enforcement issue, speed?
We were just trying to help it out, cause Matt knows how to do the sign, so.
Did,
I'm gonna interject here. Maybe I shouldn't. If there was tickets written, they learned you wouldn't need signs. That's all I'll say.
who did the transporting, Matt? I don't wanna use anybody's.
Our sign.
Somebody at the sign. Did he use reasonable care
Yes,
in moving it?
Yep.
How old is the sign?
not very old.
So how did it break? What happened?
Something that was holding it on the truck wasn't tied down properly and it fell off the truck.
It fell off the truck.
I know, I was frustrated. We were all frustrated. He was frustrated.
It feels like we're punished for doing a good deed, trying to
I
help,
was thinking,
and that's, now we have to pay.
Yeah, what's the cost of these signs?
2,597 each.
I dare say that in most towns, $2,500 isn't even gonna move the needle on our budget. So sitting here and we're saying that, well, the towns can't afford it. It depends, you pay your county taxes and you pay your town taxes. When you start with, we argue about a small amount of money, that's probably not even gonna move anybody's budget. Not even a penny, That's just some input from somebody that tries to get signs all the time for Pilot Knob. We have the same situation, we can't get them because they're being used other places. We still pay for the signs. So,
Yeah, I think that, there's a lot of county roads that really could benefit from having these signs up. Okay, we all know where they are. But they keep saying it's too costly to buy them. Yeah, Al just said there's a step grant that could potentially be used for these signs. So, you know, what's the holdup from getting signs that could potentially save some kids' life walking down Salem School or some other school, or going across the bridge where we had to repair the bridge? It sounds like good prevention. I'm not sure why the county is not doing it. Not towns. But they're mostly county roads and county bridges.
Sounds like something the chair of the safety commission, yeah.
Absolutely.
If you only knew again.
Right.
Enforcement, like you said, you gotta give them tickets. The sign matters the first day it's up.
Yeah.
After that, everybody gets used to the sign, they just look to see how fast they can go by the damn sign.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta enforce it, but we sit in these meetings and we talk about people wanting something for nothing, and then we do it with our own towns and we want something for nothing. That mindset does not work. Nobody gets something for nothing, it costs somebody somewhere. And I think that's what we have to change. We have to realize the cost. We had quite a discussion about the electronic sign in front of the building. Why do we need electronic speed signs? You have speed signs posted. If you need a lower number, well, you have to petition the state on state roads to get a lower number. Well, we can do that. But I don't see this, it's like a frill. What do we need it for? I don't see what it saves. Like I said, the first day it's up, everybody notices it and they try to slow down, and then on day 3, the kid goes, oh my God, I can go 60 by here, let's see. You know, I think we're defeating our own purpose here. Wanting something for nothing just never works. Somebody pays the price.
I think I understand what Brian's saying, and I think this is a lesson that we've learned from. It's gonna cost us money. But I think we're getting away from the point that we've got to do something with the sign that was broke. And then we can proceed on after that.
Well, John, now that I thought it was an equipment failure thing. But it was actually neglect,
Negligence.
right?
From the county.
Like the strapped in brake that was put on properly.
Right.
It was put on wrong by an employee and the sign fell off.
Yes.
So I'd like to amend my motion to say that we will pay for the sign. Because we broke it, you know, different than I thought we were doing. So,
Okay, what's the steps
You
we have
gotta,
to take?
you gotta think, make a new motion and rescind the old one, because it was already passed.
Okay, can I have a motion to rescind the old?
It can all be part of one motion, rescinding the prior motion and making a new motion. to pay.
I rescind that.
Motion's been rescinded by Bill and
I'll second
Reed. To
Reintroduce, pay for the entire thing.
pay for the entire thing, seconded by Supervisor Mumley.
Motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider. All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by aye. Anybody not in favor? So passes.
Don't do it again, Deb. Don't let anybody move no more signs. We're out of the sign moving business now.
When it comes in, you can come pick it up.
Yeah. Pick it up, it's theirs to move.
I have a question. How many signs does the sheriff's department actually?
I think they have either 2 or 4, but I don't know for sure.
None of them work.
How old are they?
I don't know.
53.5 years. Okay, so that was a long way around the answer. We've circled it a couple of times. We're all set now, so are we moving on?
Moving on. I only have one more thing. Every 4 years you appoint somebody to run our department. I was wondering if you wanted to keep me or get rid of me. Your choice. The appointment's up. May 10th. So,
I don't know how the motion would read, but a motion we keep.
Motion been made
I was gonna make. the motion. Did you?
and seconded. Any discussion?
You want it?
That one.
Fair question.
That's the bigger question.
Fair question.
Only if you'll take your time.
Just us.
I don't remember what we did with.
I know, no,
Dave,
just the full
Goes
board,
right to the
right?
board, right?
So we have a motion on the floor.
The second.
In a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody not, same signal? So passes.
To the board.
Where are we gonna find someone that takes abuse of?
I thought I was gonna make it through the sign.
Timing is everything.
thank you guys.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Got it.
I would like to have you explain to us the closing of the Fort Edward barn. And how that works with the trucks and moving things to Fort Ann. To plow Fort Edward. I know we talked about it, but I'm still not understanding that move.
So when we were going through all of our budget stuff, we eliminated two foremen ultimately. They were put back to being truck drivers. And what their union brought up was that they didn't want to not have somebody at that barn. And we didn't have a plan to have somebody at that barn. So when we went up and looked at the Fort Ann barn and it fit enough people, there was enough room up there to move those two trucks up there because we had already eliminated one of the trucks as part of our directive to eliminate $1.1 million from our budget. So that's why.
But those trucks are driving from Fort Ann to Fort Edward to plow. And they have to go back to Fort Ann to get fuel and reload was all the same.
So they can still so the Fort Ann routes are conducive to, the Fort Edward routes are conducive to the Fort Ann area because it's not that far to get to them. They can still get fuel in Fort Edward and we still stock the salt in Fort Edward.
So it'll just be back and forth. At start and finish of whatever run.
Yes, so if their route started obviously right here in Fort Edward, it will now start closer to Fort Ann. So one of the routes is 41 Mud Street. So that's up near Fort Ann. So instead of starting down here at the Fort Edward barn, it starts up more near Fort Ann, up by 149.
You adjusted routes. to
Yes.
Make that.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted a better understanding of how that works. Thank you.
Yep. And we're redoing our plow route book because we have a plow route book with all the towns and all of our routes in case something ever happens. So that if somebody has to jump in, they can just pull out the route and know where it is.
Just one more thing.
Okay.
I wanna thank you and everybody through the Washington County Highway Department for the opening and for the town of Fort Ann and Washington County for having the barn open so that we could all see it. It's one thing to see it as a blueprint on the table. It's good to see actually something built and done and being used.
Well, that wasn't our
Washington
plan.
County. It was in Fort Ann, but I know it's close much.
It wasn't our intention to like open the barn, like. We wanted to have this meeting so that people could see what our challenges were. So I offered that barn because it was a nice place to have it. And like I said, next year, it might be in Albany County, it might be in Warren County, but I don't think anybody has a barn right now as beautiful as ours, so thank you guys for getting us that barn. In Fort Ann.
Million it up.
Now can I run before I get any more challenging?
Any other business?
Oh, just one quick thing, the gentleman in the gray suit over there, who snuck in midway through the meeting is our new Assistant County Attorney, Gus Stefano. So I now have 3 attorneys in my office, including me, so hopefully, we're going to be spread out a little bit more. I don't know if he's gonna stick around after witnessing this. But, I just wanted to introduce him to everybody and,
Get out, Mike.
he'll be in the office. Stop by and say hello.
Well, okay.
Dan, get one here, you got a card game.
I know.
Only DPW is this much fun, right? Like that, but I've always been on the assumption.
Yeah, oh, you're right.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Anything else be brought for the DPW?
Let's start this meeting. I'm sorry, but I'm going after John.
Everybody's, what today?
So this works, we're in the county. Washington County, this is what you do. Okay, so we're calling this meeting to order. We have a motion to accept the minutes. All in favor?
Meeting's begun. Aye.
Aye.
Quiet. Get the gap out.
Okay, so we're going into alternative sentencing. Stu, you want to come up, please? Thank you.
Thank you. It was, I was hoping to have the final, information that our e-task grant was approved by the state, but we're still waiting. We've been notified by our state rep that it's in the final processes of being approved. And that grant is for $157,417. We do budget for that because it is an ongoing grant. This is our 5th year that we've received that. And it's for our, supports our ATI e-task program. And the only expenses that come out of that grant is $2,000 for gas cards that we purchase. And then the only other change for the grant was this year they did request our gift card policy and procedures, which we already had, so that was not really a big ask. So just an FYI, we do have either our OCFS where we get gift cards for youth or pizza cards or Dunkin' Donuts, all of those things. Internally, we do have a system that tracks those cards. We number them. They're assigned a certain, if the gift cards are used for to give to a youth, the name of the youth is put on there. The reason why we're giving that gift card is on there. It's also in there in our database. So it kind of has a and they're locked in a cabinet. So we do have a pretty robust tracking system for all things gift cards, just for your information. And that was the only thing that the state requested, and it was approved through their state system as an approved policy. So I wish I had a final update on this grant.
So you said the county puts in $2,000 towards this program?
So the $2,000 comes out of the $157,000. And it's used to provide just gas only cards for participants. And if they reach certain milestones, they get a gift card of $20 for gas only. So that's the $2,000 that we take out of this grant as an expense. So
do we approve this award?
I don't think I need anything at this point, so just an information item.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Hey, did you have a question?
No.
Thank you. That's true.
Good morning. So I just wanted to, it has our changes to our traffic program will have I think a positive impact in your towns and certainly will have a positive impact for our office. We're changing what we're doing as far as how we handle almost all of vehicle traffic matters in local court is we're going to an automated system with a company by the name of Advent. There's some reasons why we're doing it. One, when we had an ADA position eliminated in the budget process, caused us to have to really refocus on where we could spend our time. Certainly with the changes you probably have all heard or seen with DMV is changing significantly their point system and how they review accumulation of points. And then sort of lastly, really what we're seeing with the demands of the discovery laws, maintaining our ability to keep up with all of the audio, video, the explosion of cameras, et cetera, and
we need to be able to focus on the more serious penal law and vehicle traffic matters. So those are sort of the reasons why we're changing. And I can go through the program a little bit if you're interested. But the main benefits that I see will be an enhanced educational component for all drivers. Certainly will streamline our operations, which will result in more efficiencies. Another benefit will be certainly more uniform outcomes around the county, where people who get tickets in one town will have more consistent results with what people get in other towns. And I think that really is important. And lastly, there will be what we see around the state with counties that are using this program, certainly sort of an improved revenue flow for your towns. So although that is an issue that your judges don't get to talk about, that is a reality of the program. So essentially, there'll be three categories. Diversion, certain tickets will fit into the diversion category. So someone who gets a ticket, if they want a reduction, they have to take part in this program. Otherwise, it's a plea to the charge or a trial. If they take part in the program, there's a fee. For the first two, it's $100. In the diversion, they take a traffic safety class, basically, and the result would be our recommendation for a dismissal. That fee will be ultimately goes to the town. The next set, the more moderate, if you will, vehicle traffic matters would be in a traffic reduction program, but the same basic thing. They apply to take part. They provide us with all the necessary information. We approve their participation. They complete the program. They get an appropriate reduction recommendation. Again, the initial fee goes to the town. The courts then get the plea sheet and they set whatever fine they set. And then however that works mechanically within the town, between the justice and your town coffers. And then the third, for the more serious charges, which would be the aggravated unlicensed operation of motor vehicles and suspended registration, there's a higher fee, more educational component, but that's sort of the same thing. They complete the program and there's the revenue portion comes from participation or fine set by them. So the only difference is it's now automated and the idea and what we see around the state is it will reduce significantly the amount of time that we are physically in court, which allows the ADAs more time to actually get through discovery, get a share, keep cases moving forward. So that's sort of the 30,000-foot view.
Who actually collects the fees?
So the way it will work is the application fee to take part in the program is collected by Advent, remitted to the county, and then we get a report that will show which towns get which portion. So it's just an allocation out and then monies get sent. Some counties do it annually, some do it every 6 months, some do it quarterly, and some do it monthly. Yep.
So the applicant, or the person who got the ticket is actually paying the fee online to somebody?
Yes, yep,
Okay, not doing the local courts.
correct. No, it's done it's all done. So the way it's more akin to if anyone's ever gotten a ticket and resolved it by mail.
Yep.
It's akin to that, only instead of mailing, it's a QR code or you go online. The link will be on our website. We'll have all the information forward facing on our website. If they elect to take part in the program, they check a box and then that diverts them to the actual traffic diversion portion.
So I know Bob has a question.
Is this different for the first ticket versus the second ticket versus the third ticket? The same thing, or you just divert each one?
So there is a limitation. Well, first we approve everyone that comes in. So there is a provision on the diversion piece, which is the dismissal. They can't have had those tickets within the past 12 months. And there are other restrictions that apply.
Would you know if it's diverted and it's down to a marking on pavement or something?
Well, they have to provide us with a copy of their driving abstract. And the company will also be, the company also monitors that. But that's just one of the things that we look at. And, if we miss them, they're spending the money. So most people are mindful of of that. Plus, we get of the percentage of repeat customers that we see is probably fewer than 10% countywide. But so will some slip through? Yep. But by and large, we either on their driving abstract, we note it, or we just remember their names, or, you know, it generally is filtered out and we catch that. There'll be some that get through, but just like they do in local court now. Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess this should decrease the number of people coming through the front door into the court.
They'll still. It depends. The experience around the state has varied. Some will still go through the process of going to local court, getting arraigned on the ticket, and then choosing to either take part in the program or plead. Others, you know, some places law enforcement's good about notifying, or people go to the website looking for these types of programs. You know, I think a lot of our drivers, most of our drivers around the country kind of akin to, okay, I get a ticket, how do I resolve this? You know, and a lot of we don't have interstate highways, but, you know, in our experience with Route 40, Route 4, 149, a lot of them are non-resident drivers.
Right.
And so it's a way they try to avoid having to come as well. Ultimately, though, we approve whether someone takes part in the program, and then just like we do currently, police sheets will get signed and go to the court to do with, you know, to handle.
Nick?
And if someone gets a speeding ticket and you do diversion, say 3 times, but they're chronic habitual speeder and they get caught speeding on state road in the county, say 80 miles an hour. And they go to court and they plead not guilty. And now your office has to invest time and ADA to prosecute. They get an assigned counsel or public defender to come in. Once that investment is made, what do you foresee happening? Are you gonna just beat it down to a parking lot pavement, or are you gonna go for the full charge?
So a couple things. One, a speeding ticket they don't get assigned counsel or a public defender. So currently somebody gets a speed, and every speed is different. So, you know, no different than in local court right now. Someone with 80 and a 30 is going to have one outcome. Someone with 80 and a 55 will have a different outcome. And so that discretion doesn't change. And there are factors that go into history, age, and a variety of those things, but that won't change. Where I do think we'll see some change and some difference down the road will be in the aggravated and licensed operation of motor vehicles, where they are entitled to appointment of counsel. That is where I see one of the bigger changes as a result of the point changes is you're going to see a very new litigation world and relating to that. And so this is part of that, is anticipating the risks and challenges that could pose. So those tickets are going to be brought into this type of program for those that want it. And so I think you'll see some savings there. I know some counties have had tremendous savings, others not. And so how that works, and that's not the motivator behind this, but it is a reality that I think we would see some benefit from that. And a lot of that changed with, you know, the approach and attitude toward that really has changed over the last 5-6 years on those types of tickets. On the point system, that's so vastly been changed by DMV. I don't see where the point system really serves as a deterrent. And so we're hoping that the educational piece steps in and addresses the habitual offenders. You know, I mean, the likelihood of someone wanting to spend the time and energy of dealing with these courses and money, I hope will have an impact that getting a fine but not being able to be suspended because you don't pay the fine hasn't had any impact. So, you know, we're hoping that we can find some happy balance there.
Tony, I was under the impression you shared this at the magistrate's meeting
Yes,
Did you get any feedback on their interest or?
some are,
That-
some like it, some don't.
What don't they like about it? You let me ask.
It's change.
Anything else besides change?
I mean, not that I can tell. I mean, I think the concerns they had were the money flow, but I'm not involved in, the internal workings of how you coordinate with your courts. I think logistically, there'll be some that get dismissed. What happens to that fee? Well, it goes to the town. It doesn't go to the court, but ultimately all the money from the court goes to the town. So it's being managed and reported around the state. I really think that the biggest concern they have is it's something different. And, there's some people welcome change and some people resist it. And, the reality for us is we lack the manpower necessary to continue doing it the way we do. And there has to be a change. And there's some other issues that come up with our speaking with unrepresented people and all of those changes in the dynamic of 2026 and beyond have to change. So those are driving forces behind it.
So do we have to approve this?
No, this was just, I think, because there's going to be a positive impact. And you may hear from your judges. But it's
Good or bad?
right. But I think, the one thing we tried to offer the judges is, we survived the most dramatic change in criminal justice ever. And if you were to look at what I thought our plan for discovery would be in the fall of 2019 versus how we do it today, we've been doing this a long time. We kind of know how traffic tickets get pled out in all the courts. We know how all of that works. So, there will be some problems that come up and we'll fix them. And there'll be some resistance and we'll help work through that as well.
I think we have a question from now.
Tony, I'm actually very excited about the potential savings on the assigned counsel side for this program. But it leaves me with only two questions for you. One, is there a cost and do you need a budget amendment?
The cost will be covered by my expectation is it would be covered by our discovery grant, which would be part of that. And so that's something, so I will at some point, but it ought to be a net zero to the county.
So
That was the second part. So the second part is, if minimum, I would get from the committee the waiver from procurement to employ the specific vendor without going through the procurement process.
Well, we're not, oh, okay. I mean, I
That's
don't
an
know
easy
that
enough-
part, but yes.
Yeah, it's easy enough to get the waiver.
That's why I'm glad you're here. I
There's a
never would have
form.
thought of that.
I think there's an actual form now for the waiver request, but,
So we wouldn't have to go out to RFQ, is that what you're saying?
well, because it's a professional service, the committee
Right.
can waive, but there is a form now for a waiver from procurement.
Okay.
But there's time if you're not ready to engage them like today. To go through that process and get the budget in place and, because I think your discovery grant is already budgeted or is going to be.
You're talking there's the new money.
Is not yet in the budget.
Or,
I
well,
think it is.
it is, but how it gets spent is a different issue that I always deal with the state on.
So do you want to come back once you have the dollar amount and the?
No, it's $1,200. If I can do the waiver,
So we do it now?
that would be great.
So the vendor cost is $1,200
Yes.
Oh, that's,
per year,
I expected much more, so I'm happy to hear that number.
so that's per year. And so that is, the other thing is
So that-
is
this
this Washington County
conversation-
choice or is it mandated?
Oh, this is my
I
choice.
think Terry
To
used to
just-
be
Yep.
Let's
looped in.
clear that up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Your choice. Good, something's your choice.
That's right.
Just wonder.
And after that, I mean, the rest of the costs are all paid for by the participants.
Al stole my question, so, I move that we waive the procurement policy for him to go forward.
We have a second on that? Yep. Okay, any other questions? To come? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes?
Thank you, Tony. I think there's gonna be a benefit to this.
Thank you very much.
Good
Morning.
Good morning.
We're here today to ask permission to increase our intake clerk's hours from 20 hours to 35 hours. Her salary is paid for by our family defense grant. She's been doing a lot of work. She's very helpful to our office. There'll be no county money at all involved in this increase. What she does is she reviews cases to see if she can help people with Article 10 cases. She helps people with housing, food services. She does vouchers for us. Every hour she spends helping a client is an hour an attorney does not have to spend on the case. So we save money with her. It's a no cost to the county.
Why is our assigned council office providing housing and food? Shouldn't they be directed to DSS?
We're not providing, she works with DSS. Well, this is a 3-year grant we have. It's $250,000 a year. And one of the ideas behind the grant is that she works with people that are involved in Article 10 proceedings to help them better their lives. So if they don't have housing and they keep coming back in the system, she can help them with that. She can help them get jobs, help them get food, and she works with DSS. She's in addition to DSS.
Trying to cut my workload.
You said this
Mtgs.
I don't have a vote.
you said this grant's for 3 years,
Yes,
starting when?
2 years ago. We have one more year on the grant, but there is, since we obtained the grant, the state has now provided each county with additional funding for things like this, for family court services.
So you don't have a written contract or agreement with the state? Because if I read this correctly, 35 hours is going to include benefits.
Right.
So if the grant does pull back funding on this, then we're gonna pay the difference.
We anticipate getting money from the state for the future, but just not through the grant. They're giving all the counties about $250,000 a year for family court services. But she understands that the grant's going, she's going, she understands that.
So I'm glad you opened that door because my concern when I see this on the agenda, if the committee's gonna entertain this, and I'm not saying do or don't, if this is something you're gonna move the personnel, my strongest recommendation I could give you is to make it contingent upon the grant budget changing. I've been burnt on this grant once already.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be comfortable with this so when you get a grant with ILS, there's a budget page, right? Where you tell them how you're gonna spend the money. You're allowed to amend that page, but there's a process. So if you're gonna move forward with this request, my strongest recommendation would be to make a contingent on that budget amendment being accepted by ILS. So that you knew that revenue is coming, because Tom can tell you, we've been burned already real good on this grant.
Yeah,
On something that we thought we had an agreement that wasn't in writing, right? So
exactly.
even with this personnel item, I would make sure that we put in the budget request, as is the process, and that budget request is accepted, as is the process.
That was exactly the resolution I was gonna read.
I would agree with that.
That resolution?
Yeah, resolution.
Why don't we wait until we get it in writing that it will be paid for before we do anything?
And then.
That's
That's
even do
fine.
anything
We can
today.
do that.
We get something, because we
Yeah.
had that conversation yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
A lot of promises, my lesson, they rarely come true.
Exactly.
I don't want this again.
Okay, so I'll withdraw.
Plus, we just told, what the DMV, I know it's different money, it's
Yeah.
not grant money, but DMV just wanted to increase one of their employees, going back part, we said no to them as well.
Right.
We can do that if that's what you guys want to do. That's fine.
Then it's contingent on the grant
Okay.
in the future. If the funding stops in the future, it's terminated. It's terminated.
We bring that back to here or back to, first thing?
I'd come back here, right?
You got here? Okay, that's fine.
Well, one other question I have is going off what Scott said. We're going 15 hours a week. Those services are already being provided in DSS.
It's the coordination, is what it is. It's the coordination between the client and our office and the client and DSS. She's kind of like a middleman. She tries to work with the client with DSS. She can be more hands-on with the client than with DSS.
And they can. So people coming in off the street that aren't requiring legal services have to do it on their own.
Through DSS, yeah, they don't, wouldn't go through us. These are people that are in the system. These are people that are, say, they're in an article, a child neglect situation. They come in and they're, you know, they possibly can't take care of their family because they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, and they could possibly face a petition in family court. And we're trying to prevent that with our.
But it sounds to me like all she's doing is this service is available. Go see our DSS.
Well, she's working with them. She goes with them and she, you know, she works with the family. It's not just like, okay, you need food stamps, head over to DSS. It doesn't work that way.
We're talking about grown-ups, right?
Yeah, we're talking about
Most of the time.
most of the time.
But it's,
There was one other thing, I just wanted to bring the board up to speed. Dana, we've worked with Dana and some other members of the board and Mike and Dan and some other people. Last year, our caseload increased in sign council. We ended up with 1,200 more cases than public defender, and that was unanticipated. And it was due to a lot of the fact that Mike in the PD lost people, there's caseload standards, there's things like that. So we've been trying to fine tune our process as we've been going along. So one of the things I think Dana was gonna talk about later is we're going to contract with Legal Aid Society to take the conflicts from family court. So instead of the conflicts going to the 18B panel and us paying $158 an hour, there's gonna be a contract with legal aid to handle a certain number of cases. So that will significantly, hopefully significantly cut our dollar amount that we're spending. Again, last year, we didn't anticipate any of this increase. We're also, we have our family court vouchers are reviewed by the family court judge, and they, you know, if they're not in agreement with us, they'll let us know. In the past, we haven't sent the vouchers out to the local courts, but there was some concern raised at the magistrates meeting that some people may be billing for time they weren't there. So now we're going to send the vouchers out to the local judges to review them.
That wasn't actually verbalized that way. We just said it would feel better if we had judges.
Exactly.
We're not accusing anybody of anything.
No,
Attorneys
no.
are completely honest in this country.
Well put.
That's our message.
And another thing we're doing is we asked the judges to prioritize the 18B attorneys. We've been in some courts where there's 3 or 4 18B attorneys sitting around for their case to be called, and there's other cases called ahead of them. We're asking the judges to prioritize the 18B attorneys, so they get into court and get out of court fast, so we're not paying them in court time, as much in court time.
I think that, you know, what we're, Dan and Tom are talking about is an audit. Often those invoices come through. In an audit, we've had additional questions that we didn't know the answers to. And so what we're working hard at is just having more transparency in how those invoices come to the audit. Because all of us going into audit are unsure. So this will help give that documentation of timeframes.
How's the caseload appear to be going this year versus last year in the same period?
Mike's hired a lot of people, and we're working on a conflict policy, so we don't have, hopefully don't have as many conflicts coming our way. With legal aid, it should help. You have to keep in mind, we reach our top of our bell curve at the end of the year. We ask for all the vouchers to come in at the end of the year, so we can kind of reconcile our books. So we spend a lot of money in December and January, and then it kind of goes down. But hopefully, we're gonna decrease the caseload significantly. I mean, we need to.
Now, the attorneys are picking more up from Warren, Saratoga County.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't mention that. Yeah, we're doing that. We're going local first, Warren and Washington. And then if we have to go outside that realm, you go to Saratoga and possibly Rensselaer. But we're decreasing that, but there are times when we do need some specialized attorneys from outside that realm.
Specialized attorneys, what is that?
Some people are more experienced in difficult cases, like homicide cases, things like that. And you need those people. There is a difference. There's a difference where if you're sick and you have a brain tumor, you're not calling a chiropractor. You know, you're calling a brain surgeon. And we're not doing that often, but there are cases and times when you actually can do that.
When I'm sick, it comes out of my pocket. And we're talking about, we're paying the bill for this.
Right.
And I think a lawyer's a lawyer's a lawyer.
Right, well, you're still paying the same billing time, there's just a little bit difference in the travel time. You know, there's still the same amount of time going into the case, reviewing discovery in court and all that. The only difference would be the travel, we're trying to cut travel back.
So I appreciate everybody working on the workshop and trying to go through these different things. It is important to start now rather than, in budget season, all of a sudden, wish we had. So everybody's been working hard. I really want to thank everyone for coming to the table. And the local magistrates, we went to that meeting and they were very helpful. And they couldn't have been more accommodating and listening and doing what they do. So across the board, everybody's coming to the table and talking and discussing things in a good way. So
Just got one more question. You talked about a new policy for conflict.
Yes.
Does that mean that if one lawyer is that gonna say that if one lawyer has a conflict out of public defender's office, that doesn't mean the whole office is conflicted out of that case?
We're gonna determine that, I agree with you, I think Mike, Dan can tell us
It
there's a difference.
depends, as the old saying goes, if you have several attorneys in an office, if you can wall them off, for lack of a better term, there may not be a conflict for the office because you can kind of keep somebody off the side. With Mike hiring additional part-time public defenders, it might be easier to send someone to cover one case in another court. One of the things Mike was doing previously was if the assistant public defender for a court had a conflict, then, he was saying, hey, I don't want to do my APDs at court, so we've got a conflict. Now, conflict with the department head, for example, if Mike himself has a conflict, or in my office, if I have a conflict, that's considered a conflict for the entire office, because even though you can't really wall me off because I could direct, well, I'm not saying that you should do this. So that's what's got to be worked out, I think, a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go into,
I think we need executive session for two things, one for contract negotiations pursuant to Taylor law, and then there's also some potential contract that I want to discuss, that's already kind of previously mentioned, but if you don't want to get into.
okay, we have some other business. Yeah, we actually have,
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
we actually have some other business before we get to that point, if that's will work.
Yeah, I think whichever we were doing it.
John, would you come forward, please? Thank you.
Morning, everybody.
Who's that?
And so about 4.5 or 5 years ago, FEMA started looking into the flood insurance maps that we've been using back in like 1984. They were gonna update those, put them on the computer so that you can have an overlay on a GIS maps. Been working on it for a while. We're almost to the point, or they're almost to the point where getting ready to put them into use. It's July 22nd. July 21st. So they recently sent out letters to all of the different towns and villages in the county. I gave the copies that I had that was sent to me and gave out to you folks to take a look at. What I wanted to chat about is if you go to page 2. Third paragraph down. They mentioned Washington County Code Enforcement doing the floodplain management requirements. Kind of wanted to go into a little bit of what we currently are doing and what has been since found out is supposed to be going on, since they started this whole process. Currently, are you all familiar with the LRCC ones? You fill out, okay. So on there, there's a section that basically you are checking your local maps to see if the project is in a floodplain or not. Then what we do for the code enforcement is if you say that, yes, it is in a floodplain, then there's requirements in the code books for how that particular structure has to be built. Flood vents, something along those lines, can't have a basement, that type of stuff. So that's where code enforcement has come in the past. That was basically the extent of it. Since we've been going through this whole process and they've gone out to meet with, I believe, each one of you supervisors that were there at the time, I think. There's supposed to be floodplain management permits for, say, a new culvert wanted to be put in the road. There's supposed to be studies done on that to figure out how that changes downstream and upstream. So there's supposed to be permitting for that. I have no idea how to do any of that kind of stuff. That is way outside the scope of anything that we've done in the past. I don't know if that would be like engineers and software and stuff like that. That's got to be involved in that. But I just want to emphasize that that is not something that we currently have the ability to do. So that little sentence there that wraps it up nice and neat isn't quite so nice and neat.
Well, if you have the word that sentence, it's may.
Right, I'm just wanting to have the conversation before everybody passes it and finds out, oh, there's more to it than what I thought.
And actually, it says at the bottom, please note that should the town of Sound elect to designate, we have had Delaware Engineering that reviews all of our LRCC ones for the last 5 years. And they say yes or they say no. So I'm not sure if this paragraph is well.
Last paragraph on the second page. That's what they delete real quick. I think what they're saying is you gotta have the intermunicipal agreement if you're going to have code enforcement handle all of it. Yeah, that's how I read it.
Yeah, and right now,
Knows though that what applies in private.
so when we do Delaware Engineering, before an LRCC one is accepted, the landowner has to pay $35 to have Delaware Engineering review it and send it back. And wouldn't that serve this purpose without having Washington County have to do it?
I think that's perfectly fine as far as how it's been going so far. I don't know how that would work as far as like if they wanted to switch a culvert out. I don't know if
Okay, so this is being beyond LRCC ones. This is actually about,
this is the
putting
whole
culverts.
floodplain program.
so this is not about LRCC ones. This is.
Well, LRCC ones is part of that, because that's the building side of things. But, like say, farmer's, field keeps flooding out. And she wants to put in a berm of some sort, there's gotta be a study for all of that kind of stuff, and then they have to get a permit in order to do so.
So this is an ag land?
It's anything that could potentially change the layout of the floodplain.
So we're talking now 3 different things: roads, culverts,
Yeah,
ag land,
right,
and LRCC ones.
and
So-
building side of things.
None of that makes any sense, in my opinion, but I'm not a lawyer. Dan, did you read
This is the first I've seen.
that? Yeah, I'm sorry, John, it should have, I'll pull it in, but, but,
So one, John, is this just culverts in the full thing? Or is this any culvert? And two, DEC oversees on all this other stuff anyways, whether you're putting berms by the river or you're, so who's the overpowering authority here? Cause are we gonna do 3, 4 permits for the same project through 3 different organizations or 3 different entities here, or, you know? Used to be soil and water helped out, they can't do that anymore. Washington County used to have an open license where they could cover all this. They can't do that anymore, but, so DEC is supposed to have the authority, which, you know. But now you're telling us FEMA's gotta have authority, and that just doesn't look well. And all our town highway guys are not good at paperwork, so things should just get done anyway.
Where does MSCS come?
Right.
And I don't have the answers to all of these questions, so that's why I wanted to get the conversation going, because the deadline to pass, well, to submit a draft local law is April 22nd.
Yeah.
And it requires,
We're working on a township. I don't know. We're going through all this anyway. Get it all submitted, and we gotta do a draft for the law. All that deal. Now for the permitting and the engineering. When Washington County puts a culvert in a road, that's gotta be engineered. I believe. And a study done before they tear the road up, culvert it.
The Army Corps does that. That's my understanding from DEC was basically contracted by FEMA to be the local one, so I'm going back and forth, but DEC is who I met with, and everybody else, to my knowledge, is no. My knowledge, there's supposed to be permitting for that.
Okay, and then when it comes, I know like the midweek. If you go down there and take a shovel of dirt out, DEC is the one that comes to write you the ticket. They're responsible. Think that's the same thing Jay's talking about. So I don't see where Washington County should even step into that portion. And I don't see where it says that in here, but that's the way it works. The way it's always worked. So I don't know. Washington County, I don't know if is responsible for walking across the field and saying you can't reroute that brook by 6 inches. And if that's what this is saying, then we should nip something at the bud here, shouldn't we?
Yeah, because I've gotten calls, Brad, the gentleman that sent this out, he's kind of our contact. He and I have had numerous conversations where he wanted to know, you know, what our responsibilities are in this particular town, that particular town, and it's basically all been the same. We handle the building side of things, the way that I just described with the LRCC one, and he's, well, who handles, you know, the berms, and it's not something we've ever done, so I don't know who is supposed to be responsible for it, but according to my conversations with DEC, it sounds like there is supposed to be a floodplain administrator. And that person or that office, whatever, handles all of the county. That's what I picked up on.
Okay, me, you, Brad, and myself, we met together. And one of the homeowners had to pay for survey,
Base flood elevation.
base flood elevation.
Yeah.
So that wasn't through Washington County, that was through the state or DEC, proved to them about the floodplain. Not proving anything to Washington County. Now Brad is, DEC is, my opinion, looking for Washington County again to step in and do their responsibility. I guess that's a short way of putting it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no, all the supervisors, the flood administrators
Yeah.
generally in each town And our determination on whether something's in a floodplain, then as in Jackson, if somebody's building, it goes to code to make sure that they're doing all the appropriate things that they have to do with a floodplain. As far as ground moving and sediment, anything near and out in a floodplain, that's DEC, and they're short on people and their budget's getting cut and they want us to do the work, and we do not have the expertise, anybody in this room, to determine what is the correct way to do any of that. So,
Not only
And that's my point with code.
and that's so, you know,
That's where I'm coming
that,
from.
that's their problem.
And as an administrator, it doesn't matter what we say, when the bank puts out the mortgage, they tell them whether they're in the floodplain or not. They don't care what we wrote.
Correct.
And,
And
well,
Washington County doesn't tell the bank either.
No.
It's
No,
all goes state by state.
yeah, but you can take the bank to court and say, look, I'm not in the floodplain, and get it removed. I've had residents do
But it's not
that.
cheap.
No, but I've had residents that are 30, 40 foot above the
Yeah,
river,
we have
that
too.
if they were flooded, half the town would be flooded, so, yeah, they've gone to court and got it adjusted. But regardless, we are not, nobody here, no engineer here is, nobody in this room is able to do that, what they're asking or what you think they're asking, so.
Yeah, you had said that each of the supervisors is basically responsible for it. If you look again on page 2, the third paragraph down, Brad went through and looked at everybody's local laws, specified what the local law says. Some of them say the town supervisor, some of them say the zoning board, those kinds of things. So there are different ones in the different towns that do it. It'll be in your letter as to what Brad found anyway. So I just don't want this to come back in a way where we think it's supposed to be one way. And then you send in your local laws or whatever, and then they come back and say, no, you can't do it. You gotta designate somebody for culverts and all of that kind of stuff. And then, I mean, what they threaten on here is if we're not doing what they say that it's supposed to be done, that could create problems for the signing into the flood insurance coverage, so.
We'll put DEC as a floodplain administrator for all Washington.
Isn't it?
Done. Take us off the hook.
So I basically just want to get the conversation going and clarify that code enforcement isn't the catch-all for all of this.
I agree with you.
So please don't put that in your local laws. So,
Specifically, you.
yes, John Graham, yep.
The operative word is may, not shall.
Because we're all under the gun here to get these done approved. And they sent us the template. Having our lawyers look through them. You're saying that there's something in there that we should cross out as far as over, I mean, they're 23 pages long. They're wrote by lawyers, of course. For one resolution for a local law.
Yeah. That's a legal question as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how it would have to be worded. If you can even put that in there saying that, Washington County Code Enforcement handles the building side of it and XYZ handles the rest of it, because I don't know.
DEC, you
I
got the
think,
wrong one.
yeah. I think we also do that. We should put in we're having code do the building side of it, and the rest is DEC's responsibility.
One page.
Yep.
One page is what we should.
Is it, a thought that maybe we should have the same one or across the towns? Each town kind of look at it in the same way and create a law that fits for us all with, we're an agricultural community and you start looking at these different things and the wetlands we have. But.
So are you suggesting the county attorney should draw up one of the?
No,
Look at all of us.
Yes.
you have town attorneys, you can have them do that.
But then it costs 17 times as much.
And you almost need an environmental attorney on this one.
Which I am not.
Right.
I like specialized attorney right there.
Yeah.
You specialize.
You got it covered.
You almost need an environmental attorney. We used to have one years ago.
Let's drop it.
Well, down in Whitehall still does.
Okay,
That might be the way to
There are a
go.
lot of deferment here.
Yeah.
Now, why did this all end up now to point your finger at the town of Whitehall?
Because you have someone who has experience in environmental law.
Well, I suppose we can, for a small fee, right up everybody's mouth.
I don't,
No, I don't think,
Needs to be a real small.
I don't think that's a bad idea, to be honest.
No, I mean,
okay, when we get it done, I will
Sure.
send everybody a footprint of the draft. Is that what we're saying?
And we might need variations according to how each town set up is.
Yeah.
So some have their own code enforcement, some have Washington County, right? It's
Well, I mean, you have the general outline of it, obviously to change Whitehall to Hebron or
Right.
if it's county code versus village.
Town
And
code.
whoever the administrator is, I mean, I think most of it, you only may have to make a couple changes that are specific to your town.
You said you couldn't do this.
No.
so we can provide guidance.
I have a legal procedure question, Dan, because tomorrow night we were gonna set a public hearing for the following month on this local law. If we're doing that and we're waiting to see if we get a uniform one versus
That's
what
right.
template, how's our timeline, how?
I guess I would find out when the town of Whitehall is meeting next and how quickly they can get it out to you so that you can get it done.
John, where's this? Get going.
We're thinking about April, that we'd have May. Or June, or May, that we'd have June. Public hearing, May.
Well,
We have to have it drafted by April.
you can have a draft, I mean, let's put it this way, so you have to have a draft by a certain time, it
Yeah,
doesn't
the
mean
law
you
is
can't
by
change the
June,
draft
July.
between time you submit a draft and time for public hearing.
Yeah.
Review.
Okay.
Oh, I need it, Chris, he gave us the language.
That's what I go.
Yeah, I don't trust them at all, because the first map they gave me, we had one property. The map they sent me with the packet we got has 4 properties, and the first property isn't even on it. So,
I thought we were on two tracks.
On further review.
Yes. So any more questions for John? If anybody wants to get nervous, just come and look at mine. And then you'll go
Yeah.
home and feel really good.
Yes.
Okay. So that being said, thank you, John, for updating us. I really
Thank you, John.
appreciate it.
thank you, Ken.
Okay, Tim and Glenn? Um.
Morning. We'd like to recognize we've received another grant, say Emergency Services IP Network grant from the state in the tune of $689,655. Like that recognized, so we can move forward to that.
Any questions? Yeah, any questions?
Is this an ongoing grant, whole grant, or is this going to have any?
No, this is a full grant. Any of those state communications grants are bend and get.
Is this a renewal of one or? did it not
No,
go
this is a brand new one. This has to do with the next gen 911 backbone stuff. Every state or every county got the same amount.
So what's the plan? Or did they come up with?
We're working on it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, and it's motion's been made, seconded, all in favor?
I,
Aye. Thank you. No nays. Okay.
Like to move our EMS grant funds from last year into this year. The total is $343,305.20.
So moved.
second,
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Did we vote something like that with? Resolution last.
That was a different grant. That was the emergency management grant. This one's the one for EMS.
When does this one time out?
The end of the month, but we're waiting for an extension from DOH. Talked to them on the phone yesterday.
This is not the end.
They're waiting to hear their want from upstairs, downstairs, wherever the decision makers are on the extensions. And there's 10 other counties that are in the same boat as us. far as the EMS program, they've had 121 responses so far this year, so they are keeping busy, and for the most part, all of the emergency squads are happy with the support that they're getting from the county EMS program. And with EMS, I would like to respectfully request that we remove the sunset from those positions because they are funded. It's on the staffing pattern that if there's no funding, that they get sunsetted at the end of this month. And there was funding put in the grant for those.
So if we remove that. And the funding dries up, say at the end of the year, what happens?
It budget, that, so they're outside of the grant. Those positions were in the budget for this year. But as it's written right now, regardless, those positions are no more at the end of this month.
We're on kind of a trial.
Yes. So there's the grant funds, but there's also county funds to pay for those positions in the grant.
I'll move it.
We have a second
And can that
discussion?
request be modified at the finance meeting?
We just got to personnel, or no?
Who's personnel person? Well, personnel, can it be modified at a future meeting?
So at this point, do we want to send it to finance so that we actually?
I think it goes personnel first.
Goes personnel first, okay. So the motion is to send it to personnel. No, you're okay with that? Okay. Any more questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Fire stuff.
Just the recent activity, I don't know, Larry asked us to talk a little bit.
Tim, do you want to come up so we can hear you?
Cold, so I'm trying to stay in the corner away from everything. Obviously, we know through February, definitely the danger snap that we had a total of 20 fires, which is obviously very high for a short period of time, of which 17 were structure fires, 3 vehicle fires. But what was more alarming, and I know you all saw the information that we were putting out, fire coordinators out on the news, was half of those structure fires had no working smoke detectors in the home. Some of which may have been funding issues, some of which people disconnected them were working. We do continue to participate in the program with the American Red Cross, the Home Fire Safe Program. If somebody does not have working smoke detectors, they can reach out to our office. We'll make arrangements with them, the local fire department, the Red Cross, or a member of our staff to go out and assist them with equipping them working smoke detectors. So obviously, some of the situations turned out better than others. There was another community that was lost ultimately due to one of those fires, which is sad, certainly for the family, for the fire department that responded, and the community in general. But this is very taxing to the resources, let alone the people that are losing their homes. So certainly, if we can get out ahead of that, that's why the fire departments do work fire prevention all throughout the year, especially. We'll get into this. I mean, this winter was just bad for heating, and people were heating unorthodox methods, to say the least. Burning materials in their homes they should not have been burning to keep warm, which is really alarming for all of us. For the fire coordinators and investigators in your local fire departments, we're outrageously busy this winter, certainly keep together to make sure they get done. And the other pinch that we're all feeling, public safety in general, we're all short people, right? Your local rescue squad, your local fire department, the majority of them are all very short people. So that takes an awful lot of work from many different departments to come together for those. So anybody watching, listening, if you know someone in your community who doesn't have smoke detectors, please reach out to us, the fire coordinator, our office in general. One of us will make sure that we put you in contact or help alleviate the situation as much as we can. You had anything?
One concern I've thought about with what's going on in the world today. I can see fuel prices going up. And like back in the 70s when we had the oil embargo, people were installing their own wood stoves, doing what they had to keep warm. That could be a problem that
continue now with using hospital.
And make sure that if you hear of somebody that's getting a wood burning stove with a pellet stove installed, have them come talk to us, get a permit, so we can be sure to put in.
At the Board of Supervisors meeting, I had hoped and I thought that I would have Tim and Glenn come and talk to us at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I apologize to both of them. I was a little distracted. I had a grandson that was having an emergency appendectomy at the same time as Board of Supervisors. So as much as these guys are great, I was watching my phone to make sure he got out of the surgery okay. But in the meantime, this piece with Glenn, I cannot imagine your job. You're one person in Washington County that is an investigator, right?
No, we have,
How many?
I've got 2 deputy coordinators
Okay.
and we have 5 investigators, 3 investigator trainees. So they spend as much time on it.
Okay. I know that with the fire in Salem, that all of the different departments that were there, and the coordination that it took between everyone was unbelievable. It was on Main Street. They were concerned about the block going further. And everybody kept their cool. They did a great job. It was on Main Street, and I can't thank everybody enough for the job that they did. Unfortunately, Ed passed away from the burns. And it only strives home about how important your smoke alarms are. And I know every single one of you in the room, if your toaster goes off, and the smoke alarm is driving you crazy, you'd go take out the batteries or unplug them. That's not a good idea, okay? All of us need to keep those operating. And if you know any families that need them, Tim and then, just said that, let's get them in these people's homes so that they can, Jay, do you unplug yours? I'm sorry.
No, I just said when I was first married, that's how I knew supper was done.
Well, that's on YouTube.
Oh, I just copied it.
So anyways, I wanna thank you all for all that you do. I know I saw you, Glenn, there until probably 9:30 at night and we were all dead. So know that you're all appreciated. And we'll put out about smoke alarms and the availability for them. Let's try to keep our community safe and whole. Okay, you know, Ed would appreciate that. So, Glenn, you got more? Sorry.
That smoke alarm program? You sent us information. Yep. Places.
We're gonna write up a small PSA after this. Pretty fair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Okay,
You go to executive session for contract negotiations.
I'm sorry, I didn't, I just had one question I wanted to, or one thing I wanted to say was, I know we have a shortage of dispatchers down in the public safety office. And, last night on Channel 6 News, I don't know if any of you saw that, but they had a live presentation in Montgomery County of a dispatcher at work who had taken the phone call of an individual who had just called 911 to say that he had killed both his parents with a hammer. And it showed, they interviewed the dispatcher afterwards, and he talked about the stress of dealing with those kind of things and how he walked the individual through and got the information and they related to where he had to within the police department, and how he advised the guy. The guy said, "What should I do?" And he says, "You should go outside, kneel, and raise your hands in the air because the police are arriving." I just think that if we had all seen that, that would probably give us an example of some of the pressures that they are on. And they're short in Montgomery County as well with their dispatchers. As we start talking about monies and we start talking about positions and we start taking a look at those things, because they really are a tremendous amount of pressure. And the longer we have to work during the day, the less, like all of us on our job, get a little more tired, little less professional, I guess. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. It's just that the body starts wearing down, the mind doesn't work as fast, et cetera, et cetera. So, and that brought it home to me last night when I saw that, what they were going through, although I had experienced it before, seen what they did down there. I wish we'd had an opportunity to see that here today, so we could have all had a picture of what it actually took in a dispatch center for them to do these things. I just wanted to bring that up, because it was on TV last night.
Thank you, Sam. It's so important, you know.
Have you had any luck with recruitment?
We have two in training right now. That just started last week and this morning.
We hope they keep up.
The other thing, we had a field trip to DSS last Wednesday. Today, if you want to go down to public safety, they're willing to show us around so that you can see the day in the life of dispatch and see where they're located and what they're doing. So you're more than welcome to go down and view it after this meeting. Yes.
So I hate to do this, but just to follow up on Sam, I mean, what Sam watched, that's our own dispatch experience. You know, as I just said to Tim, you know, I could tell you the number of times I've watched our grand jury trial when listening to a 911 phone call. About and how the dispatch person has to work with those people in a criminal sense, I can't imagine. So just, what Sam watched and what he's describing is downstairs here as well.
Yeah.
And just how
Absolutely.
that large case ended up because of our dispatcher.
Yes.
Our dispatcher was on the stand for an hour and a half. Our youngest dispatcher,
Yes.
let alone dealing with that. So
So any other questions for Glenn? Yeah.
Based on what you just said, don't we have the sheriff provides counseling to sheriffs over there? Do they do that for your dispatchers as well?
we have Tim's spearheaded a program that covers all, let him do it.
So the peer support program that the sheriff's office has is open to any first responder in the county, plus we have responder help. On top of that, it's open to any first responder in the county, including coroners, caseworkers, and DSS, district attorney's office. So we open that up on both. It's certainly not, it does not cover all the bases by any means, but it gives them a couple of opportunities of either local folks or people they don't have to face. And this is all on top of at least for our employees, EAP. EAP is very generalized. Sue McManus and her group do an absolute great job. These two obviously are a little more first responder centric around what they do. But, you know, a combination of all these things and more so. Mental health in our community is a real thing. We all know it. We see it every day. We know it. We see it amongst our staff and our first responders. We just see it times 10 of what everybody sees in your community. So you look there, you look inside, we're seeing everybody's worst day every single day. And somebody's worst day that is landing on one or all of our plates. So it definitely adds up, and you know, those things certainly take a toll. So we do have resources available. They're certainly not enough, but they're a lot more than we did 2 years ago.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Dana, for us. Any other questions? Okay. Anything else? That was it.
Not for open
Oh,
session.
that's open. Okay, so now we're going to go into executive session.
For the purpose of contract negotiations and the Taylor law and other contracts.
So move.
Got a second? No.
No.
Got a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Glenn, thank you.